Good morning. It's not even morning, it's evening. It is about 9 p.m. at night. This is not my normal time that I'm recording this, but it's also Easter, so sue me. It is April 20th, 2025, and we are looking at Bitcoin. This is the Bitcoin weekly price forecast. Looking at where Bitcoin went in the last week and where Bitcoin could potentially go in the future. So I'm just looking at this monthly chart right now, and it looks optimistic, right? We've seen this big downward slope from February into March, and then you just come up in May. You form somewhat of a rounded bottom, which we can see that a little bit more clearly on the weekly chart once we get there. But you can see that it attempted in February to get down past 75K, couldn't really do it. In March, it attempted again, got right down there. In April, it actually did get down to about 75,000, but you see it's been very hard for it to get down there. And at this point, we're 2/3 of the way through the month of April, and it is pretty much, as we can see, it's moving on to the upward side. We're up to 87,000 at this point. That's pretty good. In my opinion, it's really good to see how this is rebounded after a major sell-off period, and especially when everything in the rest of the market is looking so bleak. It is looking so bleak in the sense that the S&P is dropping, the NASDAQ is dropping, all the different stock indexes are dropping, and Bitcoin is still holding strong, like at this point. So it's kind of cool to see. It has absolutely been a slow grind. It's been a slow churn at this point to see Bitcoin get from here to, really from the low five figures all the way to six figures. It's been a hell of a journey, but this is looking good right now. It's definitely looking good to see it continue on to the upside, and we'll just see how it goes. So again, that's the monthly chart. Overall, the month of April looks like it's going to end on a very positive note, and especially once you compare that to the month of April that the rest of the markets have had. So good to see, absolutely good to see. So as I've said with the weekly chart, there's somewhat of a rounded bottom here. Like there's you're looking at this area to where it tried to attempt to get below this area and couldn't, and now at this point it has broken above this area of 85,000. We'll see how it performs this week, but I think it should be a very good week for Bitcoin. It's had a strong kind of open above here at this point, opening into a new week. And at this point, we'll kind of turn the drawings on. So we've seen like that we're in a really downward slope, but kind of turning around. Okay, putting the drawings on, what do we have? At this point, we're going to the top of this area. You could face some type of resistance around 90,000. That's a round number. Plus, that looks like where it's going to hit and potentially kind of consolidate around here for a period and then just continue on to the upside. We'll look at some other charts earlier that reflect Bitcoin's price that show it in a different light. But this is, at this point, I'm still bullish. I'm still super bullish on this one just because, again, it's not going to happen overnight. But what will end up happening is that as we move into rougher economic times, Bitcoin's going to look a lot more attractive to people who are looking for options. And at this point, there are only a few options out there, right? Like there's gold, there's Bitcoin, and there is, fiat currency. So there's equities and, a couple other markets. But to me, the only ones that look fantastic right now are cryptocurrency and the precious metals market. A few equities, but we'll see how that evolves in the coming months. Taking a look here, I think that you could shoot up past this bull flag, and it's going to take some energy to get past the short-term holder realized price, but we'll see how that goes, right? We're still very much so in this range. As we see, we move down to the daily chart. We've been in this range really since the inauguration and whatnot, since early January, shooting up here. Well, actually, really, we've been here since November. And really just been in a downward slope, but this is promising. Seeing it shoot up to the upside at this point. But yeah, no. In terms of looking at the price, that we're still kind of in the range, but I think these stronger days and these stronger weeks that we've been having are very promising, for sure. So I think within the coming weeks, you should have some serious price volatility, especially because you have interest rate decisions coming at the end of April and in the first week of May as well. So we'll take a look at that here. So I don't really have too much else on the chart. So looking at the next week, today is Sunday. Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, no news. And then Wednesday, Thursday, this is really nothing. Just a couple of employment statistics, manufacturing numbers, and then unemployment claims. So really a week worth of no news. Moving into the following week, you do have a couple interesting things. So it's a very labor heavy week, a very employment heavy week in terms of economic news coming out. So Tuesday you have JOLTS job openings. Wednesday is the big one because Japan makes their interest rate decision, and yeah, I mean those are the big ones. And then non-farm payroll is on Friday. The rest of these are just kind of resolutions from the Bank of Japan, and then also like where are the other employment numbers that come out, like unemployment, manufacturing PMI numbers, like I said, non-farm payroll, and these other ones. So this week, nothing. This upcoming week, I wouldn't even worry about the economic news, but next week it is something to pay attention to around the 30th of April. So closing out the month, you could have some real high volatility going into that. What else you got here? What do you have? So Bitcoin, I was looking at a couple charts, right? So on-chain analysis is pretty important. People have come up with all types of mathematical models that anyone can look at. I mean, you can look at these for free. Right now, I'm on bitcoinmagazinepro.com. You're taking a look here. If I'm looking at, this is the 2-year MA multiplier. So like the 2-year moving average, pretty much. Taking a look at this, you see Bitcoin's like, it's not too high. It's not in the red zone, but it's also not quite at the green zone. So it's in kind of like this confusion area right now to where, I mean, at this point, the green level is at 57,000. I don't see it getting down to 57,000. That seems silly to me. The number just doesn't really work with the rest of the models and whatnot. It's just there's so much resistance between here. I mean, I'm going back to the chart now. There's so much resistance between here and 57,000 that it just seems ludicrous. It seems a little not realistic to say that we would go that low. So my only other option is that it's either just going to range here or it's going to continue on to the upside. We see that it hasn't hit that red line yet. So, I mean, that gives a pretty strong sense of optimism. I mean, right now that line is at 287,000. So again, my target was 250. I think that's still more than possible. My original target. So looking at more of these charts on Bitcoin Magazine Pro. I mean, again, they've been a great source of information here. We see that this is the golden ratio multiplier. So taking a look at that, that's like the 350-day moving average. You see that pretty much price bounces off of this area. It's continuously. It bounces here, and kind of coincides with really this line. And we saw that, it touched the top of this green line at, what was that, early January, and it's been a downtrend ever since. But since it's reached here, the expectation would be that it would go back up to the upside. So who knows how that'll go. Again, we've been in a downtrend for a couple months, but I don't think it'll be much longer. With this one, what is this one? This is the pi cycle top indicator. This one is pretty much called the top on every single one. As soon as this orange line crosses the green line, that's pretty much the end of the run. It hasn't done that yet. It hasn't done that yet at all. So that gives me hope. It's like, no, this has still got some more gas in it. I mean, right now this is at 154, but both of these lines move up in a pretty rapid manner. We see they're kind of wide right now, but as they start to tighten, they both move up very quickly. That hasn't happened. So we still have more room to go. So yeah, I mean, it's been a 4-month lull. The last lull was 8 months, and then the one before that was 16 months. So we see it just get shorter and shorter every time, but you really see that we're at the end of this one now. I think the last thing, I mean, we really look at is like the rainbow indicator. So this is, I mean, pretty easy to see like the different divisions here. So you kind of go up to these red levels, and okay, well maybe that's an overbought area. This is just we're way out of range. We need to sell at this point, and then eventually things die off. They don't get as hype, and then you get down to these blue areas. You pass through, orange, yellow, and green, and then you get down to this blue area, and this is like just a fantastic area to buy. And you see it stays here for a long time. It progresses through these colors pretty quickly. And then it progresses back down. It progresses up, and then it progresses down. But then it stays in like these lower good buying bands for a long time. We see right now that it's still in these lower bands, and it's still at a good price. It's still in this green zone. It's trending down towards these kind of bluish zones. So yeah, I mean, in my opinion, you still have a lot more room to go, just because again, these are in the lower price ranges historically. And I just don't see anything changing from that or deviating. Price will move a little bit differently now that institutions have bought into it and we see major corporations coming into it. People like GameStop and MicroStrategy and all these other entities that are able to also purchase Bitcoin. They can get in, but they just have not yet. I think there's a lot of regulatory clearance that people are looking for, but also these corporations are seeing that people are just hopping in and not waiting for the guidelines to be passed. They're just going to do it and then wait for do it, see the results, and then they'll, if they have to pay consequences later, they pay consequences later. But at this point, I listen. If I was a corporation, I was sitting on a lot, I would heavily consider buying Bitcoin just because of the fact that it's just a safer bet, in my opinion, than what the rest of the other currencies to be holding as your treasury looks like. So, I think that's pretty much it. It's been about 10 minutes at this point. So, again, happy Easter. Hopefully we see some solid things out of Bitcoin in the near future. Hopefully everyone had a great holiday with family and friends, and ate some good food. And other than that, check out any crypto-based resources on christalkscrypto.com. And other than that, I will see y'all on the moon. Take care. Bye-bye.